we can look at the table here. This is an example. Like we have 4 economies, A, B, C, D. And in every economy we have 3 groups. Least advantaged group, middle group, and most advantaged group. They're all different. Rawls here would choose the economy C. Why? Because the economy A is purely theoretical and it's not possible everyone to be equal. The economy B is not bad, but still it's more equal, and the most advantaged group is not very high. In the economy C, the most advantaged group is higher than economy B, but the least advantaged group is also higher than economy B. And if you see in economy B, the most advantaged group has gone far too way, and the least advantaged group is still lower than the least advantaged group in economy C. So Rawls would choose this kind of economy that gives more welfare to those who are least advantaged. But here, I would like to mention, in order not to come to some misunderstanding, it doesn't say that the most advantaged group or the high class shouldn't become better off. He says, yes, they can do that. They can become even better off, but under one condition, as the worse off to become better off, to the least advantaged group to have more welfare than in any other alternative. Well, now at the end I would like to say something about his philosophical background of this theory. So every political philosopher usually has a more philosophical background, like using metaphysics, or like Plato and Aristotle, they use metaphysics or epistemology, and the modern philosophers also, they also first created metaphysics and ethics and other kinds. But John Rawls didn't create any metaphysics. He didn't talk about the existence of the world, about does God exist or not. He was not interested in that. He just took some philosophical background from, as I mentioned before, Immanuel Kant. So he accepts his ethics. Maybe some of you remember last time we had the speech about moral philosophy of Immanuel Kant. It was said that Kant did a great influence in the succeeding philosophy. So there is almost no philosopher who doesn't philosophize in the frames of Kant, either supporting him or opposing him. And this is one example, John Rawls. He accepts Kant in order to oppose utilitarianism. What he takes from Kant is that, and he also modifies a little bit, is that people are reasonable and rational. He of course talks about the representatives in the original position. Those representatives, he assumes, are reasonable and rational. It means that if they're reasonable, they have a sense of justice. They know what is just. If they're rational, they have capacity for a conception of the good. Or as I mentioned before, they know what are the primary goods of the people. So how does the argument, what argument he brings for accepting these two principles of justice instead of the utilitarian one? He says, utilitarian principle is maximization of the utility of the greatest number. So if people in the original position who don't know their parties and don't know who they are, if they choose this kind of principle of justice, they will actually gamble. They will be at risk. Because after they lift the veil of ignorance, probably they would be in a least favored group. Let's say, for example, if you agree to the gay people, for example, to be employed after the straight people and not to have equal rights with the straight people, then after you turn the veil of ignorance, probably you will become gay, and then you just put on risk your safety. And the rule that we use, the strategy that we use to accept the principles of justice, Rawls calls maximin. Maximin. So that means to maximize the minimum. Right, maximin. So it's also connected to what I said before about the least advantaged group or the worse off to become better off in comparison to any other alternative. If we have this maximum rule, then we play on safe things wrong. We don't gamble ourselves because we don't know who we are, who are our parties and who we are. So of course we decide to choose this kind of rule. We play safety, we choose this kind of rule. That would be practically, in general, Rawls' attitude toward justice as fairness. As I said, this theory is very debated today. A lot of people who oppose, who think that in theory it's good, but in practice it's probably impossible. And thank you for listening.
All right. I want to ask the first question. So the people of the original position is like a group of people, right? They don't even know who they are themselves. You're saying if they made a law that disadvantaged gay people and then the veil of secrecy was lifted, they might be gay themselves?
Yes.
But they must know who they are themselves.
Yes, so this is a thought experiment.
It's a thought
Highly
experiment.
hypothetical state.
So
they don't know, like...
hypothetically, they don't even know who they are themselves.
Yeah.
They just understand some laws about what's it?
General facts, yeah.
General facts about humans and things
Yeah.
like that in nature.
Yeah. That's the most debated thing. I mean, how is that possible?
Right.
People do not know. It's a thought experiment. You imagine you're in a situation like that and you have to decide. Like, put yourself in other people's shoes.
Right.
Right? When you want to try to use principles of justice.
Okay, I understand. So, could you explain moral laws? And could you just explain moral laws for a minute?
Moral laws?
Right.
Moral laws are laws that guide the people in their behavior towards other people. It means like laws that tell us what is right and what is wrong when we do something.
So say if I do something bad, then or if I do something, if there's a punishment, then I will understand that I've done something bad.
When there's a punishment, that doesn't mean if you don't do anything because of punishment, that's not moral. It's not morality because you're afraid of the punishment.
No, I'm just saying like what teaches us when we make a mistake.
Okay, well, I can explain how it goes according to utilitarianism and Kant, for example. Utilitarianism says, as I said, the greatest happiness of the greatest number. So it means like, for example, a murder. A murder is wrong because it brings unhappiness. It doesn't bring happiness. So that's the reasoning of utilitarianism, and that's how they claim we know moral laws by that. What brings happiness, what brings unhappiness. According to Kant, moral law is something that we give it to ourselves. So we know it as ourselves in a way that if I do something, but at the same time I don't will that other people do the same thing, then that's the wrong thing. Like murder. If I will to murder someone, but at the same time I will that other people don't murder, so murder is wrong. It has nothing to do with happiness or unhappiness. Is that the question?
Yeah.
In utilitarianism,
Yeah, well,
still morally okay if they did something wrong?
yeah, that's a good question, and that's actually the debate over the centuries. Like, how do we know that they know that they did a happy thing for someone else? So that's the question that still hasn't had an answer.